Good day, Hornets. I am so happy that you are here today. I am Principal Tony Perry, and I am excited to have you on board. Really happy that all of you took some time today to spend with us, and even more thrilled that you are along this journey of the 25-26 school year with us. We are sure that it's going to be yet another amazing school year for Albemarle Road as we continue along a successful trajectory. We are all gas, no brakes this school year. Again, I mentioned I'm Principal Tony Perry, and I'm going to tell you just a little bit about myself before we embark upon this very short presentation. I was established in 2006 as a Hornet. So this coming school year, will be my 20th year at Albemarle Road, and I have been there in multiple capacities. Also, that means I've been a principal intern, I've been an academic facilitator, the assistant principal, and principal. In 2011, I became the principal. So we've been doing this work for quite some time. And I'm very proud to say that there are several people on our staff who have been either very close to me in their duration or their endurance at Albemarle Road, or they're coming up on the same amount of time. So we have a very dedicated, thoughtful, and very caring staff here at Albemarle Road. And that's one of the things that I'm extremely proud of. In addition, I want to also let you know I do have a son and a daughter-in-law. They're in their 30s, and I have two young grandchildren. One is 11; she's starting her first year as a sixth grader, and one is 7, and he is starting his year as a first grader. So I'm very proud of their little family, and those children are the apples of my eye. Of course, you can imagine if you're a grandma, you know what I mean. So I'm gonna talk to you just for a second about who we are as Albemarle Road, just some of the things that make us who we are. There are lots to Albemarle Road. There is lots to Albemarle Road, but some of the things that make us who we are, first, we are a National Forum School to Watch. And what does that mean? That means that we have undergone an extremely rigorous evaluation, monitoring our success with students in the areas of academic excellence, social equity, developmental responsiveness, and organizational structures. And so there have been the National Forum is a rigorous team that come out. They make us do kind of a self-study first, and then they come out and they evaluate whether or not we are doing what we said, and do those things align to those 4 domains. And we are glad to report that last year our school was redesignated as a school to watch. We're excited about that accomplishment. We also are a Title I school. And what that means is that we have additional funding from the government that helps us to create additional positions or to be able to serve our students in ways that we may not otherwise be able to. So typically our Title I fund a certain amount goes to parent involvement. We also spend those funds on additional staffing, as well as stipends for teachers in tested areas who have really outperformed the expectations. So those teachers who exceed growth usually get stipends from us because they have done so well. And finally, one of the things that we celebrate is our designation as an IB school. And what that means is that we have been selected in the district to serve students who are trying to move towards that international baccalaureate degree. And that can be diploma, and that can be in the career area or it can be in academics. So we are really proud of the work we do with IB and the characteristics of IB, all of the approaches to learning that we use. And in middle school, this is not at all a curriculum. It is how we approach learning. And so we are excited about that. And we're also excited that our students are the only middle school students who will naturally matriculate to an IB program at the high school, which is East Meck High School, if they are to continue through the IB program. So in 2024, which was the last data that we had, the last official data that we had, Albemarle Road exceeded growth. Based on data that we have recently, we believe that we are going to exceed growth in 2025 as well. Based on what our students did in May, June, we expect that we're going to exceed growth again. And that is extremely important, because what that means is that when your child comes to our school, they have a better chance of exceeding what they've done in previous years at other schools. So it's really important that we grow our students more than 1 year at a time. And we're excited about this trajectory. We need your assistance as we continue along the same trajectory. And we can't wait to make an official announcement about the data and the results from 2025. So what's going to be new this school year? One, our Chromebooks are not coming home this year. Chromebooks aren't coming home mainly because we need them to be in a location where our students in instructional time always have access to them. So we want our Chromebooks to be 100% working. We want them to be 100% charged. We want them to be in the classroom. And as you remember, if you were here last year, we had plenty of phone calls asking you to send the Chromebooks to school, send the chargers, let us inventory. And in some cases, when there was an important test, we did not have the Chromebooks available to us because they were either at home or lost. So this year, Chromebooks will not go home, and we know that that's going to be different for you, but we are excited about the opportunities it creates for our students. We also need to make sure for this year, every child has a set of wired headphones. Those do not need to be Bluetooth headphones. In fact, they cannot be Bluetooth headphones. Students may not use Bluetooth headphones for instructional purposes at school. They must have a set of wired headphones. They don't have to be on brand. They can be as cheap as you want them to be as long as they work. It is really important because iReady is the program, one of the tools that we're going to use to help us to exceed expected growth again next year or this year. And every student will be engaged with iReady, and every child will need a pair of wired headphones to help them during that endeavor. So thank you in advance for sending the wired headphones. They don't belong to the school, they belong to you. So send them in your child's book bag every day. We aren't collecting them, we're not naming them and saving them. No, they are in your child's book bag, and we want them to have access to them regularly. And finally, there is a cell phone ban in the state of North Carolina, and that is related to instructional spaces. Students may not have phones out in instructional time. So Albemarle Road already has an amazing cell phone policy, and we're going to continue with that policy. But I did want to make you aware that the state has made this a fact at this point. Students are not to have cell phones in instructional time. On our policy, it is really important that they are away, out of sight, in book bags and in drop zones, because that is the way we keep the phones away and they still stay on the child's person. I will also tell you though, if we get to the point where we are seeing cell phones or having to confiscate phones, they won't be on the person. And there can come a time when we ask parents to come pick the phone up, or we ask students to drop that phone off with their administrator at the start of the school day if they become a distraction. I don't expect it to be an issue though, because we really do have cooperative students and parents. So we're excited about this because it aligns to what we already had in place. Our goals for this school year are to increase college and career readiness. And if you're asking what is that, we all know what the EOGs are and the EOCs at the end of the year. We can score 3s, 4s, or 5s. Well, students who score 4s and 5s are students who are college and career ready, meaning they're not just proficient, they really have a strong grasp of the curriculum. And so it's really important for us that we increase the percent of our students who are college and career ready by the end of the school year. And we'll need your help on that, and I'll talk to you about how. Also, increasing our parent partnership. This orientation is the start to increasing our parental partnership. You make a strong difference in how we are able to implement and administer the education for your children. Of course, you're sending your best students to school or children to school. You're sending your best to us, but we can help you and you can help us. This is a reciprocal relationship. And so there'll be some things that we ask of you to help us to exceed expected growth next year. Also, we want to decrease chronic absenteeism. Last year, way too many students had way too many absences for unemergency type situations, for non-emergency situations. So it's extremely important that your child is in school every day for the duration of the day and that you are avoiding early dismissals. And the final thing is that we, once again, exceed expected growth in 2026. We've done it in 2024. We expect that the official data will indicate that we've done it in 2025, and we are now gearing up for 2026 to have just as successful of year or better than we've had in the past 2 years. These are the expectations that we have for every person in our building. That includes me, all of our staff, all of our students, anyone who is engaged in our school. These are our expectations: being present and on time, being respectful, being responsible, being honest, and being polite. I'm gonna give you just a few seconds just to read over the descriptors for those 5 expectations. All right, we hope that you can see that these are very reasonable requests. All of these things are going to support a successful academic and social school year for all of us. And that is why they are in place. These are extremely important expectations. They really just help us to be great people, but they will also contribute to our academic success. So please make sure that your child understands the Hornet Way. We will make sure that they understand the Hornet Way, but we need your support at home by asking them about their day, asking them how things went. Show me a time or tell me about how you were respectful in whatever class. So we'll talk about that again in just a second. I mentioned attendance. We need your help with attendance. Unfortunately, at the end of the school year last year, the chronic absenteeism rate at Albemarle Road was around 50%. And I think that you would agree that is much, much more than it needs to be. We are setting a goal for not more than 20% chronic absenteeism. And what that means is that less than 20% of our student population is missing more than 10 days of school. And if you think about it, we have 10 months of school that we attend. So 1 day a month is just a little bit too much for the school year. We ask that you keep your children in school every day and that they arrive on time, that you avoid early dismissals. Students can miss really core information if they are picked up at around the same time on multiple days, back to back, or even sporadically. I can miss my math class every day if I have a late block math class and I'm getting picked up early on a regular basis. We need your children at school unless they are feverish, unless they are vomiting, or they have another emergency that would fit into the category of an emergency with the fire department and the police station. So I need you to make sure that your children are here at school. There will be many incentives to make sure that they're coming or to reward those students who are here all the time, but I need your help in making sure that every child is in school every day so that we can all learn. Also, we need your help with assignments. And I know that you are not responsible for completing the work of your child, but I do need you to make sure that you have an integral relationship with Infinite Campus. If you have not done so already, I need you to download the Infinite Campus app and log yourself in under your child. Make sure that you are an observer on your child's courses so that you're able to monitor how much work they've completed, what the grades have been for those assignments they have completed. And as important, if they are missing assignments, you're able to see those. We need your help with getting assignments done. The main reason that students do not do well at our school is because they have too many missing assignments, and we can so easily fix that with your help. We're going to do a better job of monitoring Infinite Campus, and we need your help with doing that as well, so that all of us are putting a little bit of healthy pressure on our children to get their work done. And as I mentioned, Infinite Campus is going to be where you go to find grades, to find attendance, to find out historical data about your child. This is where you go to find all the information you need. If your child had a classroom incident, it will be noted here. It's important that you're in Infinite Campus. As important, you need to download the Parent Square app, because all of the information coming from our school, coming from the district, is going to funnel through Parent Square. Every email, every teacher communication, every alert, every voice message you get from me is going to come from Parent Square. So if you do not download Parent Square, you are automatically starting the race behind. I need you to download Infinite Campus, and I need you to download Parent Square so that you are well apprised of everything that is related to Albemarle Road Middle School, so that you can connect it and help make your child successful this school year. We also need your help with establishing routines at home, making sure that there is a consistent bedtime. One of the things that middle school parents often do is they get the idea that my child is now 12, 13, 14 years old, and they don't need the same level of supervision. And that is probably the opposite of is true. It is important that you supervise. This is one of the rockiest times in their adolescence. And it's one where they start to develop who they are and what they're going to be, what their values are and what their beliefs are. So it's important that you maintain the same level of consistency at home with bedtimes, with technology use, with study time that you did when they were in elementary. If you happen to be a 7th or 8th grade parent, or the parent of a 7th or 8th grader, you may not have done that last year. This year, we want you to bring it back. We need you to stay on top of your children just like they're in the 5th grade, because they have plenty of things to get distracted by. And it's going to take all of the village to make sure that they are remaining responsible, that they are completing those assignments, that they are coming to school well rested and ready to learn. And that is our top priority every single day. We also need your help with asking students about the Hornet Way, which I showed you a little bit earlier. Well, if they talk to you about a situation that happened at school today involving them and one of their peers, your question could easily be, how did you show respect during that situation? How were you responsible? Were you polite? And tell me how. Don't just look for yes or no answers. Look for answers where they have to define, describe exactly what happened, so that you can continue to nurture their sense of responsibility and maturity as they move throughout, again, one of the most tumultuous times of their life. So it's really important that you ask them about the Hornet Way and that they are responsible. And thank you in advance for doing that. I know that all of you are already, but I do want to make sure that I say that so that you know we are in partnership and we're saying exactly the same thing to our students as you are to your children. All right, next we need your help with the PTO, and there is a table at triage today for you to contribute towards the PTO. It is just $10 per family. We ask that you send that $10. You can pay it in cash. We would prefer that you do it on our Cash App at $ALBRD PTO. Please add your child's name, first and last, and grade in the for line so that we can attribute that payment to the right student. And thank you in advance for your donation. Also, the school improvement team needs your support. We will have school improvement team once a month. We'll start off doing it at 4 o'clock. And I think I'll tell you the date a little bit later in this presentation, but we'll start off at 4 o'clock. But as we get parent members, we will talk to them and all of us will make a decision about what the most convenient time is. So don't get distracted or deterred because of the time. That is flexible according to the members of our team. So we encourage you to join our PTO and the school improvement team. Some non-negotiable behaviors are here. One, we do not allow vaping. Every time vaping happens, we are going to issue a suspension. We do not allow vaping at school. We encourage you to get into your child's book bag on a regular basis to check for things like vapes, because sometimes the students that you least suspect will be the ones with the vape in their book bags or in the bathroom. So we want you to check for that. We do not allow profanity towards teachers at all. We will never allow a student to use profanity towards a teacher at all, and there not be a heavy penalty. Additionally, we don't allow adults to use profanity or be disrespectful of students. So let me just make that clear as well. I mentioned already the cell phones. We do have a procedure for that, and that is that book bags, all cell phones are in book bags, all book bags are in drop zones, and students do not access the book bag during class periods. Also, non-negotiable is you missing class, skipping class. That is non-negotiable behavior. If we find out, we are going to be in contact with you. We are going to make you aware that your child is skipping or not at school for a continuous amount of time, and so that we can work together to come up with a resolve. And then finally, any level of aggression that we see, we are not going to tolerate. So it's important that we work through the Hornet way so that we are on top of these behaviors. There will be celebrations that we have on a regular basis. We'll have monthly behavior celebrations, quarterly academic celebrations, already performance celebrations and treats that'll happen on a weekly basis, assessment performance celebrations and treats, and attendance celebrations and field trips. So those are just a few of the things that I can just spew off right off the top of my head, but there'll be many opportunities for celebrations, and we want to make sure that every child has an opportunity to be celebrated at Albemarle Road. I want to thank you today for spending some time with us. What's going to happen next is your homeroom teacher is going to go through a few more nuts and bolts with you just about how we run as Albemarle Road so that you are very familiar. And then we're going to get your schedules and your transportation information to you so that you can move about and meet your teachers. Once again, thank you so much for being a part of the Albemarle Road Middle School family from your principal, Tony Perry, and your entire Hornet family. Have a wonderful visit today.